The Necessity of De-Extinction. Why bring back the dire wolf? The dire wolf, an apex predator that roamed the Americas until its extinction approximately 10,000 years ago, has been revived through genetic engineering by Colossal Biosciences. This effort is framed as both a scientific milestone and a conservation tool. Key motivations include ecological restoration. Dire wolves played a critical role in Pleistocene ecosystems, regulating prey populations like bison and horses. Their reintroduction could theoretically restore balance to modern ecosystems, though critics argue their original habitat has vanished. Technological innovation. The project advances CRISPR gene editing, cloning, and synthetic biology with applications for endangered species conservation. For example, Colossal has already cloned red wolves to combat genetic bottlenecks, cultural and educational value. The dire wolf's pop culture fame, like in Game of Thrones, raises public awareness about extinction and biodiversity loss. Moral responsibility. Colossal argues that humans, as the apex predator, have a duty to reverse anthropogenic extinctions. Ethical debates. Critics counter that de-extinction distracts from conserving existing species and risks creating designer animals with no ecological niche. The process. How are the dire wolves created? Colossal's methodology combines ancient DNA analysis, CRISPR editing, and cloning. Ancient DNA extraction involved extracting DNA from a 13,000-year-old tooth found in Ohio and a 72,000-year-old ear bone discovered in Idaho. These samples provided fragmented genomes, which were then reconstructed using computational tools. Dire wolves diverged from grey wolves approximately 5.7 million years ago, making them genetically distinct despite their morphological similarities. Gene editing played a crucial role. Scientists identified 20 key genetic differences in 14 genes responsible for dire wolf traits such as larger size, white fur, robust jaws, and unique vocalizations. Using CRISPR-Cas9, these genes were edited into endothelial progenitor cells, EPCs, harvested from grey wolf blood, a less invasive method than tissue sampling. In the cloning and surrogacy process, edited nuclei were implanted into denucleated dog ova. Out of 45 embryos, 3 survived: Romulus and Remus, born in October 2024, and Khaleesi, born in January 2025. Domestic dogs, specifically large hound mixes, served as surrogates. Births were via C-section to minimize risks. In terms of post-birth care, the pups were bottle-fed after surrogate mothers disrupted their routines. They now reside on a 2,000-acre reserve with round-the-clock veterinary care. The resurrected dire wolves are hybrids. They are 99.5% grey wolf DNA. The base genome came from modern grey wolves with only 20 edits out of approximately 2.4 billion base pairs. Key dire wolf traits include edits targeting coat color, skeletal structure, and metabolism. For instance, 3 genes linked to pigmentation were modified to avoid deafness, which is common in white wolves. Controversy surrounds the project, with critics arguing the wolves are merely cosmetically altered grey wolves, not true de-extincts. Dr. Rawlence compares the genetic difference to humans and chimpanzees, stating 20 edits don't make a new species. Colossal's dire wolf project is part of a broader de-extinction portfolio. The company valuation stands at $10.2 billion as of January 2025, with $435 million raised from investors. Key funders, Ben Lamb, the CEO, has a net worth of $3.7 billion and is a serial entrepreneur with 5 startup exits. George Church, the co-founder, is a Harvard geneticist and a pioneer in CRISPR and synthetic biology. Tom Chi is an early investor focused on ecological impact. Cost per project. Exact figures are undisclosed, but woolly mammoth efforts targeting 2028 require over $70 million for elephant surrogacy and Arctic rewilding. Criticism opponents argue funds would be better spent on habitat preservation. University of Arizona's Carl Flesser calls mammoth de-extinction a stunt to attract investments. Colossal aims to resurrect 3 flagship species: the woolly mammoth, using Asian elephant surrogates. Woolly mice, or mammoth-coated rodents, were successfully created in March 2025 as a proof of concept. The thylacine, or Tasmanian tiger, by editing genomes of fat-tailed dunarts, which are small marsupials. And the dodo by collaborating with the Mauritian Wildlife Foundation to edit Nicobar pigeon genomes. Other candidates include the passenger pigeon. Revive and Restore, a colossal partner, is editing band-tailed pigeon DNA. Then there's the quagga, a zebra subspecies. Partial DNA exists in museum specimens. While not explicitly mentioned in the sources, AI is critical to genome analysis. Machine learning algorithms can reconstruct fragmented ancient DNA and predict gene functions. For example, identifying dire wolf SNPs or single nucleotide polymorphisms required comparing terabytes of genomic data. CRISPR design is another area where AI shines. It optimizes gene editing precision, reducing off-target effects. Colossal's 20 edits were likely validated through predictive modeling. AI also plays a role in ecological modeling, simulating how de-extinct species might interact with modern ecosystems. And let's not forget surrogate monitoring. AI-driven sensors track surrogate health during pregnancy, improving success rates. Animal welfare. Cloning carries risks of miscarriage, birth defects, and surrogate harm. One female dire wolf pup died from an intestinal infection. Ecological risks. Introducing hybrids could disrupt food chains. As Vox notes, ecosystems are not Lego sets. You can't plug in missing pieces. Moral hazard politicians like Doug Burgum, the US Interior Secretary, argue de-extinction justifies rolling back endangered species protections. Colossal's dire wolves symbolize humanity's growing power to reshape life itself. While the project is a technical triumph, it raises unresolved questions about conservation priorities, ethics, and our relationship with nature. As Beth Shapiro, Colossal's chief scientist, admits, these animals are a grey wolf with edits. But if it looks like a dire wolf, maybe that's enough. For future advancements, collaboration between geneticists, ecologists, and ethicists will be essential to ensure de-extinction serves life rather than vanity.